Hello everyone, my name is Dustin, and I recently purchased a Zwift Ride with a Zwift iPad holder, and I also have it connected to my TacX NEO 2T with the Zwift cog. This setup works really great. Some other people have reviewed virtual shifting with the TacX, like Shane Miller or GP Llama has an excellent review. I agree, I love the performance of it. I just wanted to make a brief video to talk about a few tips in getting this setup going, and also some useful accessories that make this really a great experience for me. So let me start in the back here with the TacX. I've had this NEO 2T for about 5 or 6 years. So this came out long before the Zwift Ride, and the Zwift Ride really wasn't designed for it. But yeah, in terms of putting the Zwift cog on, I used to have my road bike had a Campy components, so I had to take off the Campy free hub from the TacX and put on the Shimano free hub that comes with the TacX. That will work with the Zwift cog. So for me, I had to switch out the free hub. You know, TacX has some videos on how to take your cassette off and change the free hub and grease it up. And then Zwift has some videos about installing a Zwift cog on a smart trainer. If you watch those two videos together, you'll be able to navigate this. You'll need a lock ring tool and a chain whip to take your old cassette off, obviously. With my TacX NEO, a lot of people talk about motion plates or tennis balls. I use these, I found these on Amazon. They're basically kneeling pads. It's high density foam. So I'm gonna hold one, I got an extra one here. This is a dimple kneeling pad. I'll put a link to this and all these little accessories in the comments below the video. I find that these work really well. You can see I've adjusted one so you can see, you know, the TacX does make a few indentations in it over time, but I had to get these because I was in an apartment and the neighbors below me were complaining about noise. But when I got these kneeling pads and put it under the trainer, no more complaints. Also allows for a good amount of flexibility, but not too much. So I really like these to put under a smart trainer. I have a jet black Victory, and I had them under that as well. They work really well. So think about that as an alternative to tennis balls or some other do-it-yourself option. These pads are really inexpensive. You can, I've had these pads under here for a few thousand miles and they're still working great. So that's one thing. Also want to point out this fan here. I've always been a big proponent of keeping electronics cool, and this fan, you know, it's a little computer fan, but I have it on top of the TacX, and I have the air, you know, blowing this way, so it pulls heat out of the unit. Whether or not this is needed, I have used this for over 5,000 miles on Zwift, and no problems. My TacX has been very durable over time. So I'm gonna turn the trainer on and the fan. I use smart plugs, so whenever the trainer comes on, the fan comes on. You hear it has a bit of a low hum. For me, it's white noise. It's not very problematic, but it does keep it running cool. And I usually, you know, leave it on for 10 or 15 minutes after I'm done with a ride, just to let it, you know, pull the heat out of the unit. Whether or not it's needed, I don't know, but I do like it. It gives me a little peace of mind. One thing I want to mention, when I put the Zwift Ride on this trainer, the through axle, initially it wouldn't go all the way through. And what I found is I had to lift up the front of the Zwift Ride frame just about 2 or 3 inches, and then it pushed all the way through. So one of the issues here is that you do have to use the biggest riser foot that comes with the Zwift Ride. And then I also lifted it a little higher, and I'll talk about the front in a minute. So it works with this setup. But yeah, I had to lift the front of the frame up a little bit to push the through axle all the way through so it would connect to the other end. And you just use the 142 millimeter end caps that come with your TacX. I reached out to them when I got the Zwift Cog, and they actually sent me an extra set, which was complimentary, which is really cool. So that's a little tip. You want to raise the front up a little bit. And the reason for that is it's really close here to making some contact. So you want to just raise this up a little bit. So I find that my Zwift Ride is tilted up just slightly, but it's not really noticeable when I'm riding. It's not a problem at all. But so on the front, let me just come around here. I have these, I could have put some more of those kneeling pads, but I have these little, I wanted a smaller pad just so I had room for my accessory stuff. So I have these little, they're kind of anti-vibration isolation rubber blocks, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes too. You can get those on Amazon. But I use 2 of those, and it's a little thicker than one dimple pad, so it raises it up. Another thing about this setup, at least in the back, I have also a treadmill here that I use with Zwift Run. But yes, step stool. So when you have your Zwift Ride in a small space like I do, it's very hard to swing your leg wide around to get over the saddle, but a step stool makes it a lot easier. And I can just put my hand on the opposite wall and easily swing over. This is also helpful because the kneeling pads will raise the height of your whole setup. So I just found this super easy. I also use mountain biking type shoes with Shimano SPD cleats that you can walk in. It's a little easier. This would be a little more dangerous. You could have a fall or a slip if you're wearing road cycling shoes with cleats that are not easy to walk in. This might be a little dangerous for you. So proceed with caution if you decide to get a step stool, but it works for me in this small space. The other thing too is a shelf that hangs on the wall. I think I got this shelf at Hobby Lobby, and I just used some picture hangers, to attach it to the wall. And it's enough to hold a towel, a couple of water bottles. I also mount my phone there so it's charged when I'm running Zwift Companion. I can charge my AirPods. And I have some tissues in the back behind an iPad case. I also keep the Wahoo Element Rival watch handy for heart rate monitor. That works really well because it broadcasts heart rate, so it connects really well with Zwift. That's my backup because sometimes my Apple Watch is finicky, and I will talk about ways to address that as well. So moving forward a little bit, and I just want to mention these pedals. These are Shimano SPD single-sided pedals. So one side you can just wear flat shoes, and the other side you can clip in. First of all, I like the color orange, but they come in multiple colors. I also like these because sometimes after a run, I just want to sit and spin for a little bit, and I just want to hop on with my running shoes on and do that. So I like having the single-sided clipless pedals. The double-sided is nice when you're riding outside and you need to clip in fast, but indoors you can take your time to clip in. So think about getting some single-sided pedals so you have more flexibility. Or if you have a family member or a friend who wants to ride on this and they don't have cycling shoes, they just want to hop on and spin a little bit, it's nice to have a flat side option. So and I also have an extra seat post with a different saddle because I do share this at times with a friend. So I think that's all for the back. I want to talk a little bit about my handlebars here. So I see a lot of people who get Zwift Rides and want to change the handlebars. I know they're kind of thin. What I did here is I basically took a towel and I Velcro strapped it to the handlebars. And this, hold on a sec. This is super useful for me because number one, this is a really comfortable grip when you have the towel taped on here or it's Velcroed on with these Velcro straps. These are 10 inches long Velcro straps you can get on Amazon, different colors. They don't have orange, unfortunately, but I use the black ones. And We'll put a link to this also, but you definitely want to get 10 inches long. You don't want to get the shorter ones. So, but basically what I do is I double up a hand towel, get a hand towel that's a little wider than the handlebars, fold it in half, lay it across, and then I also fold in the ends. So it's like 4x thickness, and I strap it here and here in 4 spots, and this stays down. And what I like about this is, number one, it keeps sweat from getting down into this post here, and it gives me a nice cushion grip. And also when I want to have my hands like this, there's really good padding here. And the other thing too, it doesn't block I can make sure I don't accidentally press this and turn off the Zwift Ride handlebars, the Zwift click. So I want to make sure I see those and I don't accidentally press them while I'm riding. So the other thing too is when a fan's going, this towel would blow all over the place, but it stays in place really well. And then if I want to wipe my face off, I've got the hand towel over there. So I like this. I feel like I don't need to switch out the handlebar because I got enough cushioning, and I also have some nice protection from sweat. Also, you may notice that my handlebars are really far back. That's because I am a shorter rider and I don't have great reach, so I love the adjustability of the Zwift Ride frame. I find my road bike, while it's the right size frame for my height, the reach is a little bit too long, and so I had to think about getting some red shift handlebars or doing something there. But this is so adjustable for all different body types. I love it. I also want to mention that I've tried some different saddles, but the saddle that comes with the Zwift Ride is super comfortable. I really like it. So, and I've tried some other, my road biking saddle too is on that stem. But I just stick with it. I actually like it. I think it's really comfortable for me, for my geometry and anatomy. Let's see. I want to mention too, well, a big thing I want to mention too is this display. You may notice this is not a tablet. I have an iPad Pro that I was going to use with this when I first bought the Zwift Ride and the tablet holder. However, I noticed a couple of things. Oops, it turned off. You might notice I have an Apple TV attached to this. So the problem with the tablet is a couple of things. One, you can see how far in front of my handlebars a tablet would be. I had an 11-inch iPad Pro, and when the tablet is 11 inches and it's that far in front of the handlebars, if I run Zwift on it, the screen was just too small. I couldn't easily read the text on the screen, in the Zwift interface, see the data well. So I thought, the tablet is great for watching TV and stuff, if you have Zwift running on a second screen. But if you want to use Zwift as a primary on the tablet holder screen, I don't have a 13-inch iPad to try it, but I found a great solution. This is a 15.6-inch portable monitor. Before I mention that, a couple of other issues I had using my iPad Pro is the claw that holds the iPad at the top would actually occlude the FaceTime camera on my iPad Pro, which has the camera at the top in landscape mode, unlike previous iPads. So I was actually getting warnings that I'm too close to my iPad, so it thought my face was super close and it wouldn't let me operate the interface. The other problem with the design of this iPad holder, and I've written to Zwift about this, is that the iPad sits really deeply here in this holder. And a lot of times on the iPad, when you want to go back to the main screen, you swipe up from the middle bottom, and I couldn't get my finger in there to swipe up very easily. So what I'd have to do to mitigate this problem and the problem with the camera at top is either mount the iPad off center a little bit to the left so I could reach and swipe up, and also the camera was free of this clasp. So the other thing you can do is I did get an iPad case, and that helped mitigate it as well. The claw did grip the case well, and it also gave me a little more room in here to get my finger in there to swipe up. but it was not a great solution. You know, when I had my road bike on this with my TacX, I had the TacX tablet holder, which connected right to the handlebars. So the iPad was right here instead of out here. But anyways, I want to talk for a minute about this monitor. So this is actually a 4K HDR 15.6 inch monitor. Now, those specs do not matter in this setup because Zwift on the Apple TV runs at 1080p at SDR only, okay? So, but that's not the reason why I wanted this monitor. First of all, compared to other portable monitors, this monitor, first of all, there's no brand name on the front, which is nice. I don't want some weird brand name I've never heard of. It's kind of nice that it doesn't have one. But the brand, just so you know, it's called UPerfect. UPerfect. Here you go. This is the box it came in, and it's a really nice quality. The reason why it's good for the iPad or the tablet holder on the Zwift Ride is it's a 15.6 inch screen and it has 400 nits of brightness. So other portable monitors have lower brightness and that doesn't look great with Zwift, but at 400 nits I find it looks really good, and at 1080p I can read all the numbers on the screen, and it's just the perfect size for this cockpit. You know, for where my head is relative to the screen, it's the perfect size. So I highly recommend this monitor. I got it for $170 on Amazon Prime days. I think it's around $190 or $200 right now. The other reason why I chose this monitor, the other thing you have to think about is how thin or thick it is. So this, first of all, you need it to have a certain level of thinness at the bottom so it sits in the tablet holder groove at the bottom. And this is thin enough, and I'll put a link to this monitor on Amazon in the US store. So it does show its dimensions, the thinness here. I think it's like 0.4 inches. You don't want something thicker than that. And then also the thinness has to be, at the top has to be even thinner. This is about 0.12 inches or so, something like that. Again, it's in the, I'll link to it so you can see the actual dimensions. It has to be really thin so this claw holds it well, okay? And the other thing to be aware of too is this strap on the back is not very long, okay? So I have it, you know, there's a hook here and a hook here, so I have the strap on the very last hook, you know, so this is about the longest it can go. And it does, let me just show you, like it'll flex a little bit, but it's really tight here. I mean, it doesn't fall off. I don't feel like it's gonna fall off. And I've stood up on this and sprinted and no problem. It moves and it has a little flex this way, but it's fine. It stays really well. But if you get one, so this is about 10 inches tall. If you try to get a bigger monitor, this strap won't stretch far enough to hold it. So you are kind of limited to 15.6 inches, but I'm sure you could come up with a do-it-yourself solution for the strap if you wanted to. They're coming out with 18-inch portable monitors now, but I still think they're a little too thick. So I did a lot of research, and this seemed to be the best answer. Now, a couple of other things. On this side, you might notice I don't like cables sticking out. I like a nice clean cockpit, you know, so you don't see cables here sticking out, the HDMI. So this has two USB-C ports over here, and it has a mini HDMI. And so what I've done here, I'm gonna swing around to the back, is I have some angled adapters that I wanna show you. So the first one, because this has mini HDMI, I found a mini HDMI to full HDMI angled adapter, and it fits in here and it has the right orientation so the cable's coming out the back. So that's really super helpful. It really makes the setup clean, because what you don't want is a thick HDMI pulling on this monitor and pulling it this way, you know. And I also have these USB-C angled adapters, and you know, both of these adapters support the 4K HDR of this monitor. So they're really great. And the other thing I want to mention too is I have these routed around the back and under here. Okay, now these things, so your Zwift Ride comes with a couple of magnetic cable attachments, but you can see they're really easy to move. They're not very, super strong. But what I found on Amazon is these cable holders are much stronger magnets. And so there's like a 5-pack. So I have 1, 2, 3, along with the two from Zwift here. Sorry if you can't see it that well. And the other nice thing about these cable management is not only are they magnetic, but they have some, you can stick them on non-magnetic surfaces. So it has like these, it's sticky on one side and magnetic on the other. So I can mount something here and it's magnetically attached, okay? So that, I put it on the back of the Zwift tablet holder just to route these cables so they're really clean going down to the floor. Okay, and that's a really nice touch as well. I really like that. And the last thing I want to do is just kind of show you what the screen looks like with Zwift. So let me, I'm going to climb up here on top of this. I'm going to get on the setup. And sorry, I'm in my socks, so I'm not going to clip in. But let's launch Zwift here. Oh, hold on. I don't have Zwift Companion going. Sorry. So let me just go in here and we'll watch someone, so to speak. Just want to show you what it looks like. And the monitor does have built-in speakers. They're adequate, but I'm using this with Apple TV. So, and the Apple TV does recognize this as a 4K HDR monitor by default. So you can watch sports shows and stuff, and it looks really nice on this. However, if you want to put Zwift on another big screen in front of you, you can use this to watch TV. I'm going to go to just watch, and then I'm going to quickly go away from this stranger. Okay, let's go back to me. Right, back to me. There. Okay, sorry, stranger. You're in my video. I can keep the Apple TV remote right here. You can see, I don't know how well you can see this, but it does show all the Zwift elements, quite nice. I think it's a really nice display. And it's, when I'm down over the handlebars, you know, it's the perfect size. Like, I feel like I can really focus on Zwift. You know, I used to use, see that monitor over there on a mounted arm? I used to swing that over and have Zwift going on that, but I found that looking up and to the left, I was a little distracted. I didn't focus as well. Here I can really focus. And also too, this does have an audio out phone jack if you wanted to put some wired sport headphones on. I just connect my AirPods. I can connect it to Apple TV, or I can listen to music off my phone while Zwift Companion's running. But again, the elements look really nice. It's really easy to read all the elements, okay? So yeah, so this is my setup. And also let me mention, I have the Max Air fan over there. That's an industrial fan. I run it on the low setting. You know, the high setting would feel like you're biking in a hurricane. And I also do like that this tablet kind of blocks the air from going directly into my face. So that's a nice for me. Other people have those trainer fans that are smaller and you can put it like more on the floor. I've seen some people have a fan right under you. I haven't tried those, but I do like this fan, not only for cooling me, but also just general cooling of this room. And I can swivel it when I'm running over here towards myself when I'm running. So I really like that big fan. I got that on eBay. It's a Max Air fan, and I'll put a link to one of those. I got it used and it's orange, so it looks very Zwifty. So anyways, this is my Zwift Ride setup. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You don't have to subscribe or anything. This is my first YouTube video, but I really, really enjoy this setup. In many ways, these little tiny accessories have made it even much more enjoyable. So I hope you liked the video. Have a good day. Thank you.